Breaking news straight from the heart of the NFL. The walls of Patriots Nation are shaking with explosive moves behind the scenes. Destiny is being forged, and the winds of glory are starting to blow toward a brand new legendary chapter. The question that echoes through the league, are the Patriots about to write another Super Bowl epic? Because honestly, I can feel it. This year is going to be historic. But before we dive into this storm of emotions, smash that like button if you believe in this team. A team as legendary as it is immortal. If you feel that same fire burning inside your chest, drop it in the comments. Go Pats, I believe. Let's turn that belief into fuel for the next dynasty. Something happened at OTAs that no one saw coming. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every second of this, because it might just be the first sign of what's really brewing inside Foxborough this year. It wasn't just another spring practice. This was our first real look at Jerod Mayo under center, our first taste of how this rookie class is meshing, and our first clue into what Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels are building. But let's start with the biggest shock of the day, and Patriots fans, brace yourselves for this. Jerod Mayo threw 4 interceptions in just 8 attempts during his first 2 11-on-11 series. Yeah, you heard that right. 4 interceptions. That's a 50% pick rate. Christian Gonzalez, Del Pettis, and Craig Woodson all got their hands on those passes. That's the kind of stat line that gets people on Twitter calling for a bust label before the guys even had a chance to unpack his locker. And yet, and here's the kicker, Maye finished the session going 7 of 8. He bounced back. He settled in. And if you've ever been on a football field, you know how it feels to shake off that first storm of nerves. The kid looked lean, focused, and determined to finish strong. Still, we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't admit that those early picks set off some alarms. He's learning a new system. Remember, last year he was working with Alex Van Pelt, and now he's getting thrown into the deep end with Josh McDaniels' complex playbook. That transition is not going to be smooth overnight. And this is more than just X's and O's, it's chemistry. He's trying to sync with guys like Kyle Williams, a rookie himself, and undrafted receiver Eftton Chisum. The timing's off, the routes aren't quite clicking. And yeah, it's May, but you better believe the coaching staff is circling these miscues on the tape. Now let's talk about Chisum, because that might have been the brightest light in a day full of question marks. Eftton Chisum, undrafted Eastern Washington standout, a guy with Cooper Cup-level college production, is getting paid more guaranteed money than some of the team's 6th and 7th round draft picks. The Patriots went out of their way to lock this kid down, and he's already returning that investment. He had multiple catches from backup quarterback Josh Dobbs and even caught one from rookie Ben Waldridge. Evan Lazar says Chisum knows how to separate and get to his spots. That's a skill you can't teach. This isn't some flash-in-the-pan rookie hype. This kid is real, and he's fighting his way onto the 53-man roster. If you ask me, he's got a legit shot. The Patriots have had at least one undrafted free agent make the team in 19 of the last 23 seasons. Chisum is making a strong case to be this year's guy.
On the other end of the spectrum, Kyle Williams. He was supposed to be one of the more exciting WR prospects this year, and let's be real, he struggled. Just 1 catch on 4 targets, a miscommunication that led to an interception, and an overall vibe of being a step behind the rhythm. The potential is there. We saw it at rookie minicamp. But right now, he and Maye aren't reading the same page. That will need to change fast. And with Kendrick Bourne still recovering from his ACL tear, the door was wide open for someone else to step up. Enter Javon Baker. Now this is the kind of bounce back we love to see. Baker, who had a rough rookie season, let's call it what it was, made perhaps the play of the day. On a back shoulder throw from Maye, covered tightly by Christian Gonzalez, he came down with a contested catch that turned heads. If Baker can start stacking plays like that, he might just rewrite his story in New England. Because let's face it, we need playmakers on the outside. Then there's the running back room, where emotions were running high. Rhamondre Stevenson wasn't present, and for the most heartbreaking reason, he lost his father recently. Head coach Mike Vrabel addressed it with sincerity during his press conference, emphasizing that Stevenson is a key piece of this team and that he's been in close communication with him. Patriots Nation, if you're listening, show the man some love. Spam those 38s in the chat. Let him know you're behind him as he takes time to heal. His absence did open the door, though, and who stepped through it? Trayvon Henderson. Mark Daniels, who was at the OTA session, said this was his first time seeing Henderson live, and the guy is fast. Like, scary fast. Henderson had 2 catches from Jerod Mayo and showcased exactly why some in the organization are already whispering comparisons to James White. That's not a comparison thrown around lightly in New England. And it gets better. Henderson can block, and that's huge in a Josh McDaniels offense. He's got the potential to be that dual threat back that this team's been missing since White hung up the cleats. And yes, even James White himself mentioned on a podcast that the Patriots have been studying his tape for Henderson's development. Now let's pivot to the trenches, the offensive line. The narrative leading into OTAs was clear. Well, Campbell's arms are too short, he should move to guard. T-Rex jokes, the whole 9 yards. And what did the Patriots do? They ignored every single one of those criticisms and trotted Campbell out as the starting left tackle. Set in stone. The first team line with Maye under center was Campbell at LT, Cole Strange at LG, Bradbury at C, Mike Onwenu at RG, and Morgan Moses at RT. Some movement here and there with limited reps, but make no mistake, this is your offensive line. Well, Campbell isn't just taking a role seriously, he's living it. After practice ended, he stayed on the field, working reps with Morgan Moses. His locker is next to Moses. The mentorship is real. And Campbell, he said he'd die for Jerod Mayo on the field. That's the kind of passion you want from your blindside protector. For a guy drafted 4th overall, there's a mountain of pressure. But so far, he's meeting it head on. Now let me leave you with this. The overall vibe from OTAs? A mixed bag, but trending in the right direction. Yes, there was miscommunication. Yes, Jerod Mayo had a rocky start, but these are growing pains. It's May, no pads. The real tests come in August. But if you're a Patriots fan looking for reasons to believe, they're there. Henderson's speed, Chisum's emergence, Campbell's fight. The pieces are beginning to form. So now I want to hear from you. What's your biggest takeaway from OTAs so far? Are you still confident in Jerod Mayo after those early interceptions? Do you think Chisum is the real deal? And can Trayvon Henderson become that next elite pass-catching back in Foxborough? Let me know in the comments. Patriots Nation, this team is turning a corner, and you'll want to be here for the whole journey. And just when you think you've heard everything, let's talk about what might be the most underrated storyline to come out of this OTA session, the attitude shift inside the building. Mike Vrabel isn't just putting his name on the roster sheet. He's putting his stamp on the culture, and you could feel it out there. This wasn't your typical soft install day. There was energy. There was urgency. There was accountability. And yes, joint practices are coming. Vrabel announced it himself. The Patriots will scrimmage with the Washington Commanders and the Minnesota Vikings in August, ahead of the preseason matchups. Commanders on August 8th, Vikings on the 16th, and because death, taxes, and preseason against New York are inevitable, the Giants on the 21st. What's different this year is how excited the team seems about it. You could see it in Vrabel's tone. You could hear it in the players' voices. These joint practices aren't just about preparation, they're about competition. This team is hungry to hit someone not wearing red, white, and blue. And if you know anything about football, you know nothing simulates a real game better than full-speed reps against unfamiliar schemes. Why does that matter? Because this offense won't just be learning how to execute McDaniels' playbook. They'll be learning how to adapt, to evolve, to compete against a wider NFL